and thank you so much for making time to join us this Thursday on your #1 agricultural program, Kenya's Gold. Yani ukitembea any part of the world, if you're looking for a program that educates you about all matters agriculture and the entire value chain, it's none other than Kenya's Gold. Now here on the program today, we will be continuing learning so much about all matters avocado farming in Kenya. Kwa hivyo kama wewe ni mkulima wa avocado, kama unataka kukua mkulima wa avocado, kama unafanya export ya avocado, na kama pia unafanya mambo ya oil processing in avocado, this show is specifically for you. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Violeta Ngina, or the International Mkulima. Now, as we get into this farm, niliambiwa huku hakuna watchman, gate inajifungua yenyewe. There you go. Mambo ni digital. Sasa twende kwa shamba. All right, so after using a very modern gate, mambo ya teknolojia, unaona mpaka gate inajifungua, we have landed in this farm here in Thika, where they do a lot of avocado farming. And the most interesting part of it all is we will be learning from very young gentlemen. Mmoja wao anapenda avocado sana mpaka anaitwa Daddy Avocados. Na wakati alipata mtoto wake, alikuwa anataka kumuita Avocado as his first name. So come, let's meet this very passionate gentleman who's into all matters avocado farming. Atatuanzia safari ya varieties here in the farm, and we will learn all the way until we understand how oil is processed from avocados. So come, wacha tutafute huyu mtu ambaye anaitwa Daddy Avocados.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Hi, Daddy Avocados.
Yes.
First of all, that name, tunaanzia tu hapo. Why are they calling you Daddy Avocado? Where did that name come from? Even before we get to the details of the farms.
So the reason why Daddy Avocados is I love avocados, and avocados love me back. It's a mutual love. But deep beyond that, it's because I advocate for avocado. I'm an avocado farmer. We help our farmers plant avocados, and we also help them nurture them alongside my team and our partners. And we understand there's so much depth to the avocado, right? Whether it's food nutrition, whether it's environmental protection, whether it's economic empowerment for the farmer, we understand that. Personally, I am very big advocate of let's all plant avocados.
Avocado, right? Yes. So hii passion yenye mpaka ukaamua, I'm going to call myself Daddy Avocados. At what point did you realize, by the way, I really love avocados so deeply? When did that start? And then you started becoming a farmer at what point?
Okay, yeah, I think that was about 7-8 years ago, around 2018, where I started understanding, you know, just from my background, right? I had 2 or 3 avocado trees in our home, and it's delicious. Kuna mtu apendi avocado.
Imagine there are people who don't eat avocados. Well, how now?
No, avocado is actually has the healthiest fat. It has a very good vitamins, very good potassium, more than even bananas. Right. So I'm a big advocate. So it started with that, and then looking at nationally, where around 2017, 2018, there was a national drive to plant avocados.
Right.
So I personally looked at, I'm a solutions person. I look at how then I might be able to help this particular growing industry. That's where my passion, not only just from eating, but now practically really answers. So I started with planting my own trees around 2020. Right. And then I started my journey into farming, and then now supporting avocado farmers as well. Yes.
So before avocados, had you planted something else? You just went all in from that point with avocados?
Never. I tried others, but it didn't. I couldn't inspire. Carrots.
You know, I've planted carrots this season.
Yeah.
Obviously, you discourage.
Yeah, no siko baya, lakini personally, I didn't see the whole entire picture, right? Na nilikuwa na some losses. Unajua some losses na kuumiza kidogo. They cut deep.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
So now you have the passion. 2020, you start growing your first trees. Before watu tuambie that first tree, nilisikia ati karibu uite mtoto avocado.
Yeah.
Please tell us that.
Unfortunately, a new dad. Yes, my son is quite young still. But kidogo hivi hapo jina katikati tumpatia avocado.
Like you were serious about it or you were just messing?
I was serious
so
until...
who stopped the decision?
My family.
But yeah, that goes to show just how passionate you are.
Absolutely, yes.
And congratulations on being a new dad.
Thank you,
right, so now let's come back to the farm.
Yeah.
When you were planting your first trees, ile research ambao unafanya kama kijana ambaye anaingia katika sekta ya ukulima, you know, at that time you're consulting many people and information is a lot. So how did you start ndo ukahakikisha umeanza the correct way? There are different varieties in this farm. What led to that decision?
Actually, I started the wrong way, right? Nilienda nika purchase seedlings right kwa barabara. So wanted to plant a few, and then the thing, I was not an active farmer, I was a passive farmer. Shamba iko elsewhere, mimi niko Nairobi nafanya kazi. So I planted about 100 trees and zime survive saizi ni kama 15 of them. Yes.
From 100, only 15 survived.
Only 15
so you
survived.
lost 75 trees.
I lost over 80% of
over
it.
80%.
Yeah.
Na ukiangalia makosa ambao ulifanya, just break it down. Unajua kuna mtu ukimwambia umuhimu wa certified seedlings anadhania seedling ni seedling, you're just pushing for other people to get money. Just help them understand how deep that loss was and then help them correct. Ule ambaye anaanza, don't make this mistake.
Yeah, first of all, don't go on it alone, right? That was my mistake. Niliona kuna let's do avocados, nikaenda nikachukua tu seedlings zozote. Sikufanya research hiyo grafting imefanyika aje. What was the seedling preparation for that particular person, right? Are they certified to be able to provide good seedlings?
Yeah.
So it starts for your foundation here, seedlings, that's where it starts. And the reason for my loss is actually because I did not get the right seedlings. That's one. And then secondly, avocados, they are very fragile, especially the first 1 year.
Right.
Zinahitaji you take really good care of them.
Right.
Looking at all the conditions from the soil, from the water that is being provided every single week. So hapo ndo penye niliangalia, I had some few issues I didn't take care of. So when looking back from there, I was like, okay, naza na foundation is the seedling, right? With a bad seedling, hauwezi pata good fruit, regardless, right? So I start from there. Started now talking to now certified farmers like my partner Newton here, right? Where we looked at how do we get proper seedlings. That's one. How do we now properly plant it, right? Depending on the slope, depending on the shamba yenyewe, the soil itself. Then after that, kuna maintenance. How do we take care of it? Tunaiwater how many times a day?
Right.
What particular nutrients are we giving it? So from there, nilianza kulearn. I took back some tips, and I didn't even do it myself.
Right.
I actually did it with our team, my team as well. So right now, naweza sema niko na several avocado trees in my farm.
Well done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it's very professional, needs to be taken care very professionally.
Right.
Yeah, my mistakes came as a lesson, and now it's that lesson that I'm passing along to other farmers.
Right.
Yeah.
So umesema at that time shamba ilikuwa elsewhere, unapiga tu simu ukiwa Nairobi. So please tell us where that farm was and how you ended up making the transition to this part of Thika that we are today. Na pia hapo unapatikananga mara ngapi ndio tujue for real huyu si a phone farmer. Ako kwa ground as much as possible.
That's a very good question because iko na so many explorations. Tuanze na shamba ilikuwa Kisii, right? And mimi niko Nairobi. So that's almost 300-400 kilometers away.
Right.
And then that's number one. So nilikuwa nataka nikuwe some sort of a digital farmer because tunaingia into that digital space.
Right.
But sasa kulikuwa na hiyo, nilidhani digital ni kupiga simu. It is not. It is not that, right?
Right.
Kuna some other cases to that.
Right.
So nilianza with my farm in Kisii, right, where we now we actually applied technology where now nafanya remote monitoring where I can now see the progress of my trees, the progress of my crops, right? Now using other technology such as satellite technology, where we are also doing soil testing, so we are able to understand pakata, even drones. So that is the part of the remote monitoring that I didn't have in the first place. Kukuja now easy funding in Thika, now is me applying that support of remote precision farming actually. So precision farming is tuseme kama hii shamba yetu kubwa sana hivi, right? Where do you apply the right fertilizer? Do you need to apply it in the whole farm? Not
Right.
really, right? So we are able to do crop analysis. We are able to do soil analysis to understand where, particularly if there's need for remediation, where do we apply it?
Right.
So it saves on costs, save on time, and save on energy. So
Right.
si kwenda kumwagilia kila mahali. So it needs to be precise. So
Right.
hapo ndio nilikuwa nataka kuwa a remote farmer, but then I didn't have the tools
Right.
to be a remote farmer.
Great.
Yes.
So does that mean in this day and age when you're doing precision farming, just because ni wakati wa kupaka applying fertilizer or the sprays, it's not supposed to be done on all the trees?
No, hapana.
But
No,
that's what we are doing. Tuko na calendar, tunajua sasa ni wakati wa kuweka whether it's top dressing, whether it's spraying, so we just come and apply it on all the trees.
Hapana.
Talk to us on why that is not the right way to go.
Yeah, different trees ziko na different growth
Right.
methods, right? And particularly even specifically the soil, iko na different chemical compounds, right?
Right.
So una understand where is the tree is it affected?
Right.
So if a tree is not affected, then there's no need to be able to apply, whether it's foliars, whether it's fertilizers, right?
Right.
So you only apply when there is need for you to do it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's hapo ndo penye tulianza napo, where you understand right now, you are not just growing na ku-apply just generally. It's not a general
One
application.
size fits all.
Hapana, no. Trees, as you can see, ziko na different age growths. Kuna ingine iko ndogo kidogo, kuna ingine
Right.
it's about 6 years old.
Yeah.
So you need to apply those methods specifically to those particular trees.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where our precision monitoring and precision application
Right.
of ilianza hapo.
Right.
Where pahali tuna understand we need to make targeted remediation
Treatment to each tree.
to each tree.
So Daddy, that name, Daddy Avocado. So Daddy Avocados, you know, when I come here, mimi kama mkulima, if I look at this tree, I will not know the different needs that are required.
Yeah.
That's why kama ni kuspray, nitaspray zote. Kama ni kuweka mbolea, nitaweka zote the same way. So what technology is that you're using to help you monitor so that you know for this particular tree, this is what is needed, not the same as this other tree. Are we able to see that?
Yeah, you have the technology.
Great.
Yes.
So you're going to show me that. Pengine tutembe to a tree.
Certainly, yeah.
And as we do that, kwa nini wao wanasema avocado ya Kisii? There's something about avocados from Kisii, which is true. Nishawailetewa. They are sweeter to some extent. What is it about avocados in Kisii? Is it your soil? Is it the weather? Is it the people?
It's the soil. You're very right. The soil in Kisii, it's actually red volcanic soil. So it's very good, rich in nutrients in the avocado itself.
Right.
So that's one. Secondly, there's a slight slope pale Kisii Highlands, right? So avocados inataka, naona this one iko na slope, right? Inataka uweze kupigwa na jua, right, from a east-west direction.
A slope like it's going this way?
Yeah, slightly. Si sana, slightly.
To some extent.
Yeah. So inamaanisha pia hata water logging hakuna. So in case it rains, naona because avocados we create nini around it, yeah? We create pits around it. So kukiwa na water logging, ita affect the avocado ipatie root rot. Yeah, phytophthora, right? Exactly. So because of the slope, right, water is always running. So there's no water logging.
But now, another question becomes, when the rain is too much, sometimes it carries away the topsoil, which we know is very, very fertile.
Correct, yeah.
So when the slope is there, na unasema avocado inapenda sana slope, how do you protect yourself from losing your topsoil, which is very, very important?
Yeah, so now
farming.
if you are in a very slopey place, so you have mounds. So as you can see as an example, venye hii imekuwa grown, kuna mound, right? And then the nini is around it, the water pit is around it. So you have to grow it in a mound isikue mvua ikinyesha, the water is just around here, lakini topsoil bado inabaki. Iko hapo penye iko. So it's again, you know, preparation ya how to grow, specifically how to plant the avocados, do equate affected depending on location. So if you are in a flat land, that's a very different application compared na venye you are in a slope land, na even in a very hilly place. Maybe close to the river. So different areas requires different applications.
So ule mtu ambaye ako in a flat area, do they need to raise their bed when planting like this one?
Yes.
Oh, they do.
Yes.
So everyone should.
Yeah, everyone should. Where specifically hii inasaidia inasaidia sana sana retention of the water itself, ndio, and then it protects it from the water going directly to the root, right? You can see where it's planted, so it's not hitting it directly, but the avocado tree is always moistured, always has water.
Right.
Yes.
That's a solution to people who really struggle with root rot.
Absolutely.
Watu wengi sana wamekuwa kisema they've lost a section of their avocado trees due to root rot.
Absolutely.
So if they apply this raised bed kind of technology for growing their trees, it can help.
Yes, it really helps.
All right, so now we are here. Tunataka kuangalia hii technology ambayo unatumia so that you know what treatment is for what tree. Ndo tusifanye one size fits all in agriculture, sindio? But before then, kuna avocado ulikuwa umeniekea hapa kando so that we see the different varieties that you have here.
Yes.
Can I pick them?
Yes, certainly.
All right. Okay. Right, so these are different avocado varieties that are grown in this farm. We will be getting into the details. Gani ni has, gani ni fuerte, gani ni giant, kulembwa giant,
jumbo.
giant jumbo, giant has, all that and more when we come back from this short break. Pia tutawaonesha hiyo technology that we are talking about called precision agriculture. Ukulima si kukuja kama ni mbolea unamwaga kwa miti zote the same way. Okay. You look at the different needs of your tree and you give them the treatment they deserve. You'll be saving money at the end of the day. So when you come back from this break, we have that and more. We are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm still here with Daddy Avocado. He has a very interesting name. So we do want to continue learning so much about the different varieties of avocado in this farm, and at the same time tutakuwa tunaangalia technology ambayo wanatumia kuhakikisha that each tree is given a personalized treatment. So let's just start here from the different varieties.
Right. These are Hass avocados. The reason known because its skin it's very hardy.
Right.
And the reason is for that is because it's very good for export, right? When you are shipping it.
Right.
So your thick skin is able to stay in transit for a very long time.
Right.
And it actually has better taste, rather according to the export market, and a smaller pit. So smaller pit inamaanisha more flesh.
Kwa hivyo wale watu ambao you're seeing a lot of sensitization, grow Hass avocados when you're getting into the avocado space, you are also advocating for them to grow the Hass.
Yes, the Hass.
How does it behave when it comes to matters, pests, diseases, climate change? Now tuambie kama the last season, were you affected by pasture mite ambao kila mkulima amekuwa akilia from different parts of the country? Was that something you saw here? And since you have different varieties, do they behave differently? So
Hass is slightly more hardy in terms of resistance to pest, right? But there's other clonal that are a bit much more. So it depends also on where you're getting your seedling. Domana, as we mentioned earlier, seedling is very important for you to understand where you're getting your seedling. Right. That's one. Right. And then secondly, when you're talking about infestation of affect the tree itself, so it doesn't matter the variety. So the passia mite infestation that we had last year affected a lot of trees. So in terms of harvesting, ilikuwa kidogo. Production ilishuka kidogo. So that is one of those natural conditions that you have to understand. Ndio maana pia tunasema it's very important for mkulima before apande afanye soil test. So you're able to understand what particular area you're growing na kama kuna any mitigation you are able to apply it. Yeah, so hiyo ni pande ya Hass. The farm was actually affected in terms of production, right? We got less than what we are expecting. So which really affected our income, and not just for this farm, it was nationally. Yeah, so that was a big problem where we started.
So now we have this other variety. Hii ni gani?
Hii inaitwa fuerte. So now fuerte is a green skin avocado, and then it's slightly longer, oblong, right? Where it's slightly longer, and the skin is slightly more. It's not hardy as
smooth. Yeah,
it's smooth.
Quite smooth. Yeah. So ulikuwa umesema when the Hass ikiiva, the skin turns to purplish.
Purplish black.
Right. Yes. And when fuerte imeiva,
inabaki green bado.
Means green.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Finally, tuko na huyu master, huyu mkubwa hapa.
Huyo ndo anaitwa Jumbo sasa.
Right.
Now this one is now the more traditional variety that majority of the Kenyans, especially the traditional Kenyan farmers wako nazo.
Right.
Yeah, now most of it is consumed locally because demand iko chini sana on the export market.
Right.
Yeah, so this is more the local variety that is compared to this, but this is more hardy in terms of how long does it grow. It takes about 5 years compared to grafted ones that take about 3 years.
Right, but we're also using this when it comes to propagating. Sindio?
Yes.
So tunatumia the rootstock kutoka
hapa. Exactly. So the seed now acts as a rootstock for it. Scion kutoka hapo.
All right, yes. Great. So now we can put this on the side. Tumeona the different varieties. Now we want to look at that technology ambayo unatumia when it comes to monitoring the needs of the different trees. Just expound hii technology inatumia nini?
Kile tunasema tuna understand hii kwa shamba yenyewe iko na so much data, iko na so much details yenye iko nazo within. Inamaanisha when you look at for example the leaves zenyewe, you can see the reason they are quite green is because the chlorophyll level iko high. Right? So the same chlorophyll level is the one now we look using the satellite. So when you see that the chlorophyll level iko high, that means that this tree is healthy.
Right.
So when this is now inakuwa monitored na the refraction of light on the leaf itself. So that's how we use it. So leaf ikifanya refraction, we are able to see how green it is. Now how green it is means how healthy it is. So you need a crop health index report, so that we are able to understand how healthy the crop is.
Right.
So when you do an analysis of kwa farm, you are able to understand kuona different areas that have different health levels.
Right.
So one that is slightly chini in terms of it's more yellow towards light green towards yellow. That means your tree specifically needs mediation kwa sababu it's not as healthy. So chlorophyll level iko chini. So that's one part that we have to use hapo kwa satellite monitoring.
So it's a satellite technology. As a farmer, do I download it? Is it an app that I'm downloading on the phone?
Yes.
Does it go for both Android and iOS?
It's an Android app, but kuna web-based version unaweza kutumia. Majority of application huwa tunapatia managers or even cooperatives, because hao ndio wanafanya mediation kwenye ama extension officers. Kama ni kwa cooperative, you give it to the extension officer because yeye ndo anasaidia mkulima. Yes, na so might be an agronomist. So from there, we're able to teach them specifically what does this notification mean when they do their report. So inawapatia nawaambia, okay, your crop, your farm, on the northeastern side, kuna shida ya chlorophyll levels. So that is where you need to focus your remediation on. So hapo ndo ambao tunaweza kusaidia not only just farmers and organizations, pia wanakuwa na information about their crop. Because unajua farm is as we mentioned, iko na so much data points. Right? So ile when you're targeting responses, you're able to target those specific trees, and tukienda further into the soil, right? Pia soil pia iko na different organic chemicals in the soil. Pia the soil effects kama in a matter. So when we do our analysis, we don't just focus on the crop itself, but we also look at the soil. So kama for example tunachukua soil test the very first year, right? To understand what are the mediations, and then over the years tunashinda tukifanya we are still monitoring. Yes, to understand has the compound changed. The chemicals changed, has the pH risen ama imeteremka chini. So hizo ndo targeted measures towards ensuring that you're not just applying randomly but specifically.
Right. So over time, you're a young person, and I know we are very tech savvy. I know a concern that older people who are dominating the agricultural sector, watakwambia how accurate is the information that we get from these digital apps? Ama kuna saa zingine you'll have to add that knowledge with a knowledge of somebody else. Don't entirely just rely on that.
So now actually we are not entirely relying on the app itself. The app is like Twitter, it's your core farmer, right? Si ati for you to make it to make decisions for you. So it helps you narrow down the decision. So unapatiwa so when you see for example your crop health report, now you are able to imagine what is on the ground, right? Kuweza kuangalia, right? So that's one. Secondly, for example, when we are doing uploading the data, so kuna algorithms ambao nini. So the more information you have, the more it is refined. So when you ukiangalia the soil, do you have the soil test that is correct, right? Are you inputting the information that is correct? Inamaanisha practices. When did you add foliar? When did you add fertilizer? So all that in a matter. So it's a combination of both, right? The farmer, the information ako nayo, the input anafanya, production anafanya. So in information inapatiwa, the output inapatia, right? So yes, so in a match in a farmers, just helping the farmer.
And it's not replacing the agronomist as well.
No, not actually helping the agronomist. Yes.
Okay.
A lot of avocados are going for export, right? And the export market is very strict. They have very strict structures on what sort of avocados do they allow. And if you are able to meet those particular standards, that means you're able to get the best price possible kama mkulima. Na hiyo ndo unataka, the best price possible. So once you have your records ready, hata buyer mwenyewe anafurahia because they know the exact origin of each avocado wananunua inatoka aje.
Great, but isn't it a bit unfair sometimes when a farmer does all that work, keeps the record, goes organic, akipata soko ya nje, they'll make some money. But if the same fruit goes to the local market, bei inashuka kidogo. Doesn't that discourage the farmers? Do you think like even local market, we need to do something about regulating the prices? No, because not all of us will manage to get to the export market. Ule mkulima bado ana supply local market needs to make profits.
Where we look at mbona the purchasing, especially in the local market iko low, tunaangalia various aspects, lakini kile tunaangalia ni our uniqueness, particularly globally. We're in a global community. There are areas where they cannot even grow avocados, yet they love avocados. So the demand there in terms of price is much higher than local. As mkulima unaangalia kutafuta the maximum price possible. So inaanza from there. Aya, tukiingia kwa local market, ni watu najua avocado hataki kununua more than 20 bob.
The consumer.
So kukiwa na less supply locally inamaanisha price inapanda juu. So ni ile aspect ya sellers, especially kama growers kama sisi tunaangalia where do we get the right price in the market. So saizi kumeanza kuwa na price stabilization where the local market has realized the demand of the avocado, so imeanza kupanda juu, but still at the same time the export market iko na higher demand because they don't have supply of avocados year round like we do locally. Yes. So all
right, good point. But at the end of the day, we need to find a way of protecting the local farmer who's supplying to the local market.
Yes.
All right, great. All right, so let's move to the app and see how it works.
So now kwa app tunaangalia where the farm is. This you see, this is where the farm is registered. In terms of location and information. We are able to see from a geo point of view. So here inaitwa geofence, where exactly where all these zones are. So up on the foundation of everything, so the information when we are feeding in, it's marked specifically to this spot. Yeah, up on the tunaza. Then when you're looking at the crop health reports, right? So you have the information we are looking at. You have crop land preparation. So this is the input part where you are able to input your information. How do you manage your land? How do you manage your soil? How do you do nutrient management? Right? So all this information you're able to put in. Now tukienda pale for example kama disease management na pest management, we're able to hata kuangalia fanya disease detection. So unapiga picha inakwambia hii this particular what disease is this that in affected plant. So when the mediation is done inafanywa specifically according to your information uipatia, not randomly. So ukifanya so crop health report, so unachukua una select the farm that you want, the date of interest, which is today, and then you just confirm, you request a crop report. So now include all the information that tumeweza kuchukua from how was it prepared. Yes, and then now analyze according to your satellite data about tulikuwa tumefanya algorithm. So we look at the crop health, we look at the soil health. So kuna 23 different reports back at our water retention in the soil. So even you're looking at where kuna most moisture na where hakuna. So inamaanisha even in terms of irrigation, you're able to apply mitigation penye hakuna soil moisture. So you look at where is the soil moisture in.
So if you walk to a random farm, like kulima akuita kwambia there's a disease in my farm, sielewi, they've never filled in any data anywhere in the app. So how do you operate, or does it have to be a farmer who already has the app and has been filling into the app?
Yeah, you have to already have the application and fill it in. Even if it's the very very first time, we just send our partner to you, where they're able to onboard your farmer and then be able to take those information for you. So this is an example, right, of a crop health report, so known as NDVI. So this means the green part in Amanisha, it's healthy, the red part. So you can see in the borders is not as healthy, right? And then you look at, this is crop greenness report. You can see very healthy farm. So this is how you're able to do your mediation. Crop moisture, where you look at where does the crop have moisture or does it need irrigation? So
just from the picture, or there's another information that you put in to check things like the moisture content?
So no. So now the AI is trained for ile information ya tulichukua from the soil data. So the AI pulls that information at the same time. The satellite information ya tunachukua is usually refreshed after every 7 days. Yeah, so inaweza kuangalia crop moisture after every 7 days. So inakupatia report based on that.
Does it give you solutions to the problem? Kama hapa mahali unaona the borders were not as green, meaning some of the crops along the borders were not in their healthiest state?
Yes, so now it has solutions, but those solutions have to be recommended also by the agronomist. Yeah. The agronomist and double check your information so that we don't just give random general information. So the agronomists are like, yes, this matches my assessment yenye nilifanya kwa ground itself.
All right.
Yes.
Great. So as we wrap up this part of the conversation, pengine uzungumze na kijana ambaye yeye kwake haoni umuhimu wa kuingia katika sekta ya avocado. You having been here, do you think that this is a green gold?
Absolutely. It is. What I like to say to young people, especially, avocado has in a grow for almost 25 years now. And here 25 years, itaanza kukupatia fruit from the 3rd year onwards. Mti kisha eka na ianze kugrow, especially as we mentioned the first year, we make sure that imemea vizuri. Hii ni mti ambayo ita produce up to almost 100 fruits per year, right? Na vile tumesema market uko nayo local, uko nayo export, na pia kunayo kwa oil, na maanisha soko hiko. So if one tree is able to give you 100 fruits, can you imagine how many fruits we are getting from all this? Now it's growing for 25 years. So inamaanisha wewe kama kijana umejipatia investment, right? That's a time investment. So by the time it's hitting its peak, we're in the 7th year to 10th year, where pia now investment yako imefanya nini, imeanza kugrow. Yeah, hapo tunianza. That's one. And then secondly, kuna opportunities, so much opportunities in the industry. As mentioned, mimi tunaangalia nilianza na ukulima, then sasa nimeingia technology, right? Pia kuna agronomy aspect of it, na pia kuna beyond that kuna hiyo export na processing. So the avocado industry is growing, and Geza Patena statistically is growing at 12% compounded annual growth rate. So inamaanisha every year kuna 12% growth. 12% growth. So when you look at our 10 year, inamaanisha hiyo growth imekuwa kubwa sana. So na the average age of wakulima is about 60 years, right? Mkulima mwenye ako 60 years na mwenye ako miaka yetu ya 30 years, kuna more young people come to the field, they give it vigor. Unajua hata ile hiyo nguvu unaipatia ina translate to the plant itself. Because anasema watu tunaongelesha miti, right? So that vigor itself, that energy is what we need, particularly in the industry, so that we ensure that it continuously grows over time.
Right. Great. Thank you so much, Daddy Avocados, for having us here.
Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure meeting you and just seeing how passionate you are about avocados. Asante sana.
Thank you so much.
All right. There you go. We were here with Daddy Avocados, learning so much about his entry into the avocado sector, technology ambayo anatumia, the different varieties of avocado that are in this farm. Na najua wewe kama mkulima umeona vitu ambavyo uko nayo kwa shamba yako, and you're probably also thinking, ile conversation ya mafuta tunaanzia wapi? Can all these varieties produce oil? That is the conversation that we are getting into on the next part of the show. We'll have a look which varieties produce the most oil, which one is most preferred by the processors, and how you as a farmer can make sure hata ukikosa export market bado unatengeneza mafuta, unapata pesa yako, unaendeleza mambo ya kulima. That and more later on the program. We're back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're just from having a fantastic conversation with Daddy Avocados on all matters avocado farming here in Kenya. And now he has handed us over to an avocado expert ambaye anaitwa Mr. Newton. Habari ya Newton?
Mzuri sana.
Uko salama? Asante sana kwa kutukaribisha hapa siku ya leo. And we just want to learn a lot about ile process ya kutengeneza mafuta from avocado. Of course, it starts from the farm.
Yes.
So wakati mnakuja kufanya selection, ni variety gani ambao mnaangalia sana kwa the different varieties that we have? Just break that down for us.
Hass is the best variety when it comes to oil production, but that doesn't mean that the other varieties don't produce oil. So Hass is number 1, Fuete is number 2. Basically, when it comes to oil processing, factories will focus on these two fruits.
So hiyo kitu tunaita oil content, inakuanga kipimo ya aina gani?
Oil content inakuwa determined na maturity ya matunda. So ukiharvest matunda yako early before maturity, then it means the oil content iko chini, because there's something we call dry matter content, which is the difference between moisture content na the oil content of the fruit. So what happens is if your fruit is above 24, the DM is above 24, then you'll get at least 12%. Let's say 12, half of the DM is the oil content of that.
So DM is dry matter. So if your fruit has about,
let's say the DM is 24%, which is the recommended harvesting percentage of DM for you to get for export and also for oil processing.
So if your DM is 24%, the recommended one, inamaanisha the oil content ni about 12%.
12%. Then the extraction will be dependent on the machine that you're using. So most machines zinaweza out of the 12%, they can extract maybe like 6, 7, 8%.
Right.
A very good machine will do 10%.
Right. Now, given the way we operate here locally, we are very heavy on exporting our avocado. Do processors wanabaki na ya kutosha? Is there a balance where we know this production favors the people in oil processing and then we have enough for exporting? How does that work?
So basically, in local Kenyan farms, you find that the export percentage is around 60%. So the rest, 40%, is what you call the grade 2, which goes into oil processing. And the 40% is oil processing fruits come after you have selected the good quality fruits which go for the export market. So basically, it's any fruit that is infested by pests, has deformities, sunburns. So it's actually any fruit that you can't export. So
like this, we are definitely not exporting this one.
Yeah, this one, we are not exporting it because it's actually over mature. You can see the purplish color.
Right.
So it means it will ripen in process, unless you're only doing air freight. And also you see on this side, you can see there's some signs of sunburn. So the fruit is not as beautiful as this one.
Right. If 60% goes to the international market, we are left with 40%.
Yes.
So your 40% ndo tunagawanywa local consumers na watu wa mafuta.
Yes, local consumers, but rarely will you see a Hass avocado in the market. So it all goes to oil processing because we are actually having a shortage of avocados for oil processing. Yeah, we have like 60 companies which are processing avocado oil. The minimum capacity of the machine is 5 tons per hour. So that means if you're talking about this guy processing 8 hours a day, that's 40 tons. So if they're processing 16 hours a day, that's around 80 tons.
Right.
So, and times the number of factories that are there. So we're having to import a lot of fruits from our neighboring countries.
That's where I was going to, kwa sababu inamaanisha mkitegemea avocado ya hapa Kenya, itafika mahali factories, there's a time in the year hakuna kazi mnafanya. Sindio? So, I mean, how do you handle that gap?
So basically, we're importing a lot of fruit from Burundi, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, and sometimes even Ethiopia. So
it's Hass still that we are importing?
We import some bit of Hass. Don't forget they also have processing factories in their country. From countries like Tanzania, also a bit in Uganda. So Burundi, majorly we import the local variety.
Right.
Tanzania also, the major volume is a local variety. Yeah, Uganda, local variety.
Right.
So their local varieties actually you'll be surprised it's actually better than our local variety because it has higher oil content compared to our local variety.
All right.
Yeah, especially the one from Burundi and Uganda is really loved by the processors.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is an opportunity for young people to get into the avocado sector kwa sababu unaona production bado iko chini.
Yes.
All right. So there's also another variety hapa. This is now a Pinkerton.
Yeah, this is a Pinkerton variety. It's also a green skin. It's actually, when it ripens, doesn't turn any color.
Right.
So they'd serve the same market as
the fuete.
The fuete variety.
Lakini sijakusikia ukiongelelea when it comes to processors, not preferred?
It's not preferred. The oil content is very low. Actually, the prices of this and the local variety actually almost similar. And they're actually very poor prices. Yeah. So even the farmer won't gain. But this one has a good market if you're a large-scale farmer. So you export to specific clients outside there. But
like
for oil processing, upon.
Also for oil processing, we won't use our local, our jumbo, and we won't use Pinkerton.
No, we will use, but it is not the preferred. So we use these ones, especially off-season.
Okay.
So we have no Hass, we have no fuete, we won't close down. So we'll use our local Pinkerton and the local variety, and then we'll also import from our neighboring countries.
Right.
Huge volumes. You'll see actually from July, mid-July, you'll start seeing a lot of trailers, the 40-feet trailers carrying fruits in sacks coming to Kenya. Yeah.
All right, great.
Yeah.
So unaangalia with our current situation in the country, we're importing a lot of edible oils.
Yes.
A lot of it is coming from Malaysia. We're importing a lot from Indonesia.
Yeah.
If we were to, you know, strengthen this value chain space of processing oil, nyinyi mnaona kama mmesapotiwa ya kutosha? If it was to get the recognition it deserves, can it help in reducing our over-reliance? Ukiangalia budget, we are using over 150 billion per year to import fats and oils. Can this help?
Yeah, I think it can help because this is actually the most healthy oil to consume compared to the oils that we are importing. And that's why most of it is going outside there because they already know the benefit of avocado oil. Yeah, so currently we are having some refineries coming up. So we are hoping that with the proper support maybe from the government, from the ministries and all that, we'll be able to scale them up, be able to refine the crude, because what we produce currently is crude. Then we refine it and then sell it at our local shelves, and it will help both in our health, improving our health, and also income to our farmers.
All right. So there's still so much potential in this sector.
There's a lot of potential.
All right. So the moment you walk into someone's farm, mumekuja kuchukua avocado ya mafuta. Is there particular machinery that you carry, ama tu unaangalia kama imefika wakati wa kuharvest na ni variety ambayo mnataka, and then that's it? Yeah,
there's a machine, we call it a DM meter, or an avocado quality meter. So we don't have it right now, but usually you don't even need to harvest the fruit from the tree. So you just measure with the gadget from the tree, and it will be able to tell you the dry matter content percentage in that fruit. It's actually very good because you can be able to move. It's like 3 seconds. You know. The other method that is you do is observation method. So like this fruit is already mature enough, and you don't even need to know the percentage. Already the dry matter content with this fruit is higher compared to this fruit. You see?
All right.
Yeah, so that's observation method. Then there's another, because the machine is also very expensive, there's another method that we use, which is the microwave testing method. Yeah.
So how do you use the microwave? Hii microwave ya kawaida tu yenye tunachemshia nao chakula?
Yes. And then also, that one, what you do is you get some part of fruit from this one. Where? Okay. Okay. So let me just give you
But does the fruit have to be ripe kwanza?
No, it doesn't have to be. Okay. When you're processing, it's bought while it's raw. So you ripen it at the factory. Yeah. So after ripening,
ukinunua avocado ya kuprocess mafuta, mnachukua mbichi.
Yeah, mbichi. Ikiwa in this state. So we ripen it at the factory.
Why did I assume kwanza mnataka yenye imefinyika?
Hapana, hatuwezi chukua yenye imefinyika. So usually there's also a method that you look. can be able to tell if the avocado is mature or not. So you see the nini is still white. So this means the fruit is not yet there. So that's another observation method.
Not yet there as in?
It's not yet mature. So the DM is low, it's still low.
Oh.
So if this one is brown, you know when you open a ripened avocado, the skin is usually brown.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can tell if it is, the browner it is, the higher the maturity.
Oil content.
And the higher the oil content.
Also hii hamtachukua.
Hii hatuwezi chukua.
Hii ni ya export.
Hata export hatutachukua.
Oh, hii haija mature.
Haija mature. So it is not favorable for export and
it's not favorable for oil as well.
Yeah.
Why did I assume? Unaona venye unaendanga kununua avocado, unapata zingine zimefinyika. Nilikuwa nadhania mnachukuanga kwanza hizo.
Hizo hatuchukui because it is very difficult to hata kutransport, to handle in the factory and all that. Yeah. So what we do, tunachukua kama we are targeting to process 40 tons on Wednesday. We know that this fruit will take maybe like, depending on the dry matter, it will take 7 days, 12 days to ripen. So tunaichukua before we ripen at the factory, then process.
All right, great. Makosa ile wakulima wanafanya sana, unapata dry matter yao, the dry matter is very low.
Problem is actually wakulima wengi wana harvest matunda before the maturity. So ni kama there's that rush of earning some income, and it is not good because at the beginning of the season price pia bado zinakuwa chini. But if those farmers are able to wait, pesa itakuwa mzuri na kila mtu atafurahia.
All right. Thank you so much, Newton, for opening up our eyes into what you look out for when it comes to processing oil from avocados. And later on, the coming weeks, tunaenda na nyinyi kwa factory. So that we can process hadi tupate hiyo crude oil. Alafu tutaenda kwa mwingine tufanye value addition na hiyo crude oil. So that mkulima and everyone who's watching, they understand the value chain all the way from the propagator to the final addition that has been value added. Sindio? Thank you so much. Great. So nice to have you here. All right, there you go. Kama ulikuwa kama mimi unadhania ile avocado imefinyika sana ndio inatakikana kutengeneza mafuta, well, you've learned something different. There is a quality and a standard that they look out for, with Hass being the most preferred. Alafu fuete, alafu ikishindikana sana, soko ikuwe imekauka, they can now go for the Pinkerton and the local varieties as well. Now we're going to have to wrap it up there for this feature, but moving forward, we'll make sure to mend a factory and teach you the entire process of value adding our avocados to oil. Now, what a fantastic feature it has been here in Thika, interacting with young gentlemen in the agricultural sector. What tunasema, one of the biggest challenges that we are facing in agriculture is the fact that the average age of a Kenyan farmer is about 55 to 60 years. But when you look at Daddy Avocados, when you look at Newton, then you can tell that the future of agriculture is definitely bright. Tumeanza safari ya processing oil from avocados, and why this is very important is because if you look at the year 2025, the oil that we imported in the country, the value was at 158.8 billion. That is the import worth of the oil that was imported here in Kenya. What if we decided to grow more oil producing crops, and also we put a lot of effort in this sector to hopefully reduce the import of oil in the country? That's the conversation we're going to be having moving forward as we explore the process of producing oil from avocados. Thank you so much for watching our show today. And now, my favorite part, nataka kujifungulia hii gate automatic. Naomba kupewa habari yako. Wachani. So this gate, actually, you call it. Unaona venye unapigianga mtu simu, unaipigia simu. So this is the phone. We are going to be calling the gate to open. So huku ni kuzuri, hata mtu wako asipokupigia simu, unapigia gate simu. Kwa tu sawa, si ndio? So here we go. Yeah, so we are calling the gate. Is it ringing? Oh yeah. And we're out, guys. Niende na simu ama nikurudishie? Enda nayo. All right, bye guys. Thank you for watching our feature today. My name is Violetta Ngina. Goodbye.